Good morning, this is Mrs. Yule. We're almost done with school, so if you're doing all the worksheets and drawing all the blueprints, hang in there. We're almost done, which is exciting. So I am going to do the triangle and Pythagorean review today. I started in on this thinking there wasn't very much here, and then I was surprised by how much there actually is. So I'm going to ask you to write down everything you know about triangles. So I want you to write down at least 10 things. So stop the video, write down everything you know about a triangle, and then once you have your list, continue on. So here are the things I was thinking about, and there are a lot more than this. Every time I make this list, I list different things, but here are some of the things we know. That a triangle has 3 sides, has 3 angles. The sum of the 3 angles is 180 degrees. So if I add up all the angles on the inside of the triangle, I get 180 degrees. Angles are named by capital letters. So A, B, C, we could call them D, E, and F. It doesn't really matter. It's just that they're capital letters usually. Sides are named by the lowercase letters that correspond to the angles. So side A, side little b, side little c. Triangles contain at most 1 right angle. So right angle is 90 degrees. A triangle can have exactly 1 right angle if it has any. In a right triangle, the sum of the other 2 angles is 90 degrees because 90 plus 90 is 180. We also have the Pythagorean Theorem, which has to do with triangles. And you guys know this. I think this is everybody's favorite one. But Pythagorean Theorem says a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. And that's where a and b are the legs, c is the hypotenuse, or c is the side opposite the right angle. And I have it right there. The hypotenuse is the side opposite the right angle, usually side C, but it doesn't have to be called C. They always try and get you there. And then the hypotenuse is the longest side. Oops, I just moved everything. So there's a lot of other things we could have said. I'm going to add to this list as we go on, but here's at least 10 things that you could have written down about triangles. You could have talked about equilateral triangles, equal angular triangles, isosceles triangles, and we'll get to those. There are more than 10 things that you know about triangles. So here is just any triangle. Angles are capital A, B, and C. So opposite angle A is side little a. Opposite angle B is side little b, opposite angle C is side little c. This one looks like an isosceles triangle because these 2 sides look equal, or maybe you can make an argument that it looks like all 3 are equal, and then that would be an equal angular or equilateral triangle. Here is the right triangle. One thing I want you to notice about right triangles, you can never assume a triangle is a right triangle unless they have an angle marked with this little box. And this means that this is the right angle. So opposite angle C, which is my right angle, would be the hypotenuse. Okay, Pythagorean theorem for right triangles. I had it up before, we'll talk about it again. Given any right triangle, it is always true. A squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, where c is the right angle and side C is the hypotenuse. Side A and B are what we call the legs. So the sum of the legs of a right triangle is equal to the sum of the hypotenuse. And we're going to use this theorem in just a minute. I always forget about this because I get so into trig. I forget that there's other pieces to this. But we have a worksheet about this that it talks about the interior and the exterior angles. So interior, obviously the ones on the inside marked in red. Exterior are the ones on the outside. Notice the sum of the 2 angles that are side by side. So this interior and this exterior are going to be 180 because they are linear pairs. So the angle that form linear pairs with interior angles are exterior angles. And now we've got a couple of theorems about this that you do need to write down. They are on your review sheets. So if I go too fast, you can find them on your sheets. You can stop me and write these down. So the sum of the measures of the interior of a triangle is 180 degrees. This little, oh, they didn't use a little m, but if you see a little m and they're talking about triangles or any kind of angles, that means the measure of the angle. So we talked about this. The sum of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. The measure of an exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the measures of the two non-adjacent interior angles, and we haven't used that one yet, so that's new. And then when I have a corollary to that, the angles of a right triangle are complementary. So it just means they add up to 90 degrees. So the other two angles will be 90 degrees. Now, I am going to do this one for you. It looks very interesting to me. And when I did this one, I did it different than the book did. So I will show you the way I did it, and then I'll show you the way the worksheet did it. So we need to find the measure. This M is what I was talking about. This means find the measure of angle 1. Here's angle 1. And they gave me, here's an exterior angle. I'm looking for this interior. 30 degrees is an interior, and this 12x minus 13 degrees is also an interior. So I'm going to switch to my whiteboard. If you need to stop and write down this triangle first, then please go ahead and do so, and then just start me again when you're ready to do that. I'm also going to write it at the top of the whiteboard, and you'll notice I'm wearing a t-shirt, which I normally don't do. I don't really like t-shirts, but this is the new Bulldog t-shirt. Let me see if you can see it, which I actually like this shirt. So using it on the board, let me move me. I'm never exactly sure what you see. I don't know if that little square moves for you or not, but we're going to use the whiteboard right now. So they gave me a triangle. This is one. They said this was 30 degrees. Out here, this is going to be 13x plus 35. And I know that this angle right here is going to be 12x plus 13 degrees. Now, I started out, and what they asked me to do was to find the measure of angle 1. I started out knowing that this angle here and angle 1 is going to be 180 degrees because they form a linear pair. So I could say the measure of angle 1 plus 13x plus 35 degrees is equal to 180 degrees, or I have the measure of angle 1 is equal to 180 degrees minus, and I'm going to use parentheses, 13x plus 35 degrees. I distribute this negative, so this is negative 13x minus 35. And now I can combine the numbers. So I'm going to get the measure of angle 1 is equal to 180 minus 35 is going to be 145. And then I have minus the 13x degrees. So what I was saying here is 13x plus 35 plus this angle has to equal 180. So I solved for what the measure of angle 1 was. And I also know that angle 1 plus the 30 degrees plus 12x plus 13 degrees has to equal 180. This is the sum of the measures of the angles in a triangle is 180. I know what angle 1 is. We just solved for that. So I'm going to substitute this in for angle 1. I have 145 minus 13x degrees plus 30 degrees plus 12x plus 13 degrees is equal to 180. degrees. Now I can combine like terms. Here's an x term, here is an x term. So minus 13x plus 12x is going to give me negative x. And I still have 180 degrees here. Now I need to combine 145 plus 30 plus 13, and this is going to give me 188. So now I'm going to subtract 188 from both sides. And I'm going to get negative x is equal to negative 8. Multiply everything by negative 1, so I get x is equal to 8. So I found out what x is, but I still didn't find out what angle 1 is. I am going to now substitute it into this formula. So I'm going to have 145 minus 13 times 8 degrees is equal to the measure of angle 1. Or I'm going to have angle 1 is equal to 145 minus 104. When I multiply 13 and 8, I get 104. So angle 1 is equal to 36 degrees. So let's see how we did. And that's very interesting. Do you like how I did this one? So that's very cute. I was wondering about this. When I did 145 minus 104, let's line this up. It's a good thing I'm the math teacher. This is going to be 1. This is going to be 41 degrees. So the answer to this one is actually 41 degrees. So don't do what I just did and make that mistake in your math. So it is actually 41 degrees. I love it when I come all the way down to the end and then I did the subtraction wrong. So make sure that you get that as 41 degrees. They did this one differently than I did. If this seems easier to you, they use exterior angle theorem. I don't care which one you use. I just want you to do it the way that you think about it. Okay. So here we're going to look at isosceles and equilateral triangle. Isosceles triangle has exactly 2 congruent sides. Congruent means that they're equal, so it has 2 sides that are equal. Those are called the legs. The third side is called the base. If these 2 legs are equal, then the 2 interior angles are equal. So if 2 sides of a triangle congruent, then the angles opposite them are congruent. We know that for sure. And then if 2 angles of a triangle are congruent, then the sides opposite that are congruent. So I can prove it either way. If these 2 angles were equal, I know these 2 sides are equal. And we're going to use this right now. Oh, wait, we've got some more. So we did this one, we did this one. Okay, corollary to that, if a triangle is equilateral, then it's also equal angular. So if I have 3 equal angles, then all the sides are also equal. Or if all the sides are equal, then I know that the angles are going to be equal. Here we're going to be finding the value of x and y. This is not a super easy one to do. Let's see if I can do it without making a mistake. Go ahead and take a second and write this down. I'm going to leave it up where I copied the drawing to the board. I didn't copy it on my paper, so let me draw it right here so we can talk about it. let's see how they, A, B, C. D and E, so make sure you're writing this down. And then I know this is 18. I know that this is 4x minus 2. And then I know that this is 3y degrees. Notice it says 3y degrees. So I know that they're measuring the angles. And then these all have a mark in them. If you're not familiar with it, that mark means that they are exactly the same. This one is also marked. And then all of these angles are marked. When they're marked like this, then I know that they are exactly the same. Which ones? Okay, and that is all I know about this. So I am going to be finding the values of x and y. So let me switch to, since you couldn't see what I wrote on my board at all because I was on this camera. Hopefully you have this written down. And let's go to the camera. Okay, there's my drawing. So what I know about this, since all of these are marked the same, I know that side CD, so from here to here, is equal to DE, side DE, which is equal to EC. I know that DE is 18, and I know that CD is 4x minus 2. So this is going to be easy to solve. I just set those equal, add 2 to both sides. I get 4x is equal to 20, and x is equal to 5. So here's one of my answers. That was super easy to find. Now I have to find y. So that I know here that angle ACE, so I'm talking about this angle right here, I'll mark it in pink. I'm going to be looking for linear pairs. I'm looking for this one right here is what I'm talking about right now. So I'm going to say angle ACE. I'm going from here to C to E. Plus, this one would be the other linear pair there, so this would be DCE. This has to equal 180 degrees because they are a linear pair. I know that all of these are equal in this triangle, so I know that DCE is equal to 180 divided by 3, or DCE is equal to 60 degrees. So when I know that the triangle has 3 sides that are the same, the 3 angles are the same, and each one is 60 degrees. So now I know that angle ACE right here plus 60 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Subtract 60 from both sides, and I get angle ACE is equal to 108 and 20 degrees. Now, these 2 angles are marked the same. So the other thing that I do know, sorry, not the 2 angles, the 2 sides. These 2 sides are marked the same. So these 2 angles have to be equal. It's an isosceles triangle. So this angle also has to be 3y. So I know that angle A plus angle C plus angle E, if I'm talking about this triangle, have to equal 180 degrees. And I know that angle A is 3y. We said that this angle C was 120. and E is also 3y. This is going to equal 180 degrees. I'm going to add the y's together. 3 plus 3 is 6. So 6y plus 120 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Subtract 120 degrees. And I'm going to get 6y is equal to 60 degrees. So y is equal to 10 degrees. Here is the other solution that they were looking for. And let's go back and look at the book solution and see how we did. Again, if I am going too fast for you, just slow it down, just stop it, go back to what you need, and then when you catch up, just go ahead. So here is this picture again. So they did get 10 and they got 5 here. And if you want to stop and look at their picture, you can stop me here and look at this. This is also in your packet. It's all worked out. This is one of the packet examples. So the last one I want to do for you, yay, is a super easy one, Pythagorean Theorem. Everybody likes it. So find the missing length of the triangle. Remember, I can use the Pythagorean Theorem because this is marked as a right angle. Once I know I have a right angle, I can do Pythagorean Theorem. The side opposite the right angle is a hypotenuse. Don't forget which one that is. So 17 yards is a hypotenuse, 15 yards is a leg, and the missing length A is also a leg. So what I know for sure is A is going to be smaller than 17. Each of the sides has to be shorter than the hypotenuse. So let's go ahead and do this on the whiteboard. And I just need to erase this first. I am going to draw the triangle. When I'm doing triangle things, I almost always draw the triangle. I don't know why red never erases either. So here is my triangle. I know that's the right angle, so I know 17 yards is the hypotenuse. 15 yards is one of the legs, and I'm looking for side A. So I know that A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. A squared is what I have to solve for. The other leg is 15, so this is going to be 15 squared is equal to 17 squared. Subtract 15 squared from both sides. A squared is equal to 17 squared minus 15 squared. Square them first. So A squared is equal to 289 minus 225. So A squared is equal to 64. I only need to know what A is, not A squared. So remember, to undo a square, I take the square root. The square root of anything squared is itself, so I get A is equal to, and remember when I square root, I need the plus or minus. So this would be plus or minus 8. However, when I talk about a length, I do not need the negative because length is never negative. So here, A is equal to 8, and you need units. Our units are yards. So Pythagorean Theorem is pretty easy. Most people love doing it. There are some numbers that you will see over and over and over again on these. Square root is definitely on your calculator or on Desmos. So, oops, I did the wrong share. That was lovely. Let me go back and go back to the Smartboard slides. Okay, I think this is the last one I have for you. Let me check it out and make sure. Oops, no, I had one more. Oh, no, here's just the answer for this one that they had done. So go ahead and work on the Pythagorean Theorem worksheets and the triangle worksheets, and then I will make the trig ones really soon, promise you. Hope you're having fun working on this, and today is actually Memorial Day, so enjoy Memorial Day. and stay safe. I will see you all later. Just need to stop the recording.